Hey, how's it going? Well, it's that time again. I got a weird one today. I am gonna tell somebody else's story. I talked to almost everybody involved except for Cheyenne, which I probably should have talked to her. But the story is really about McLovin. I don't know if you know my niece's husband, Seth. He's a boxing coach, and I've been training with him and Cheyenne for a while now. They have a great boxing team, and they're both got all these certs from USA Boxing and IBF. I believe the website is Sandoval Strong. I'll have to look it up. I'll put it in a comment. I'm pretty sure it's sandovalstrong.com. But whatever it is, I'll make a comment on the video. I'll post it somewhere. But anyways, so when Cheyenne and Seth first got together, and she started bringing him around, he was given that nickname McLovin by Joey. Because, no offense, and I'm sure, I know Seth well enough to know he won't take offense to it. He's a pretty solid guy, but, he was pretty nerdy when we first met him. And just how he got the nickname. And there was an incident, and when the incident occurred, somebody told me about it. I don't remember who told me about it. I want to say it was Dusty, but I could be mistaken. But, this was all years ago. But when it happened, what I had heard was that there was an incident at First Friday where Cheyenne and Seth were there, and something happened where somebody had attacked Cheyenne in one of the most disgusting ways that you can attack a person, which I guess basically the dude spit on her, which is a big deal, and I didn't really hear the whole story, and I guess part of the story I kind of came to my own conclusion, but I didn't really know. I assumed that somebody was probably trying to talk to her, and she has a boyfriend, so she was like, screw you or whatever, and it turned into an altercation. But I did know for sure 100% that no fight had ensued. So what happened next was Seth started carrying a gun, which was really scary because it was legal. It was legal for him to carry a gun, but the concern when somebody gets put back into a corner is that they're gonna lash out, just people in general. And the last thing anybody wanted to see was for him to pull out his weapon and use it on somebody unnecessarily. And of course that usually equals prison time. And especially at the time, I don't think Seth was built for prison time. So it was a huge concern. And you're kind of scared for the guy. He was new. The relationship was new when all this happened. I think Seth was saying that they had only started dating days or weeks. It was all new, so not even everybody in the family knew him yet, if I had to guess. So that was a huge concern, because you don't know. We didn't know him. We didn't know how he was or who him well enough to know whether or not he would do something like pull a gun out and use it. A lot of people find themselves in these positions where they carry a gun and they think they're all. And I'm not talking about Seth. I'm just talking about in general. This is Arizona, and a lot of people carry guns, and a lot of people are trained, and a lot of people aren't afraid to use them. And you get some kid who feels like that gun gives him power, and he starts popping off at the mouth, and then he pulls his gun, and it turns out the person that you pull your gun on also has a gun, and things get out of hand real quick. I know when I was a kid, there was an incident where a guy from our neighborhood and another guy that I had went to school with, who I was friends with, had got into it at a mall, and I think guns were pulled, and one of those guys saw the other guy at a payphone and went up and shot him in the face. And now that kid, who was probably, he was when I knew him, he was a good kid. We wrestled together in junior high school, and he was a Scottsdale kid doing like serious prison time. And another kid lost his eyes, and shot off shotgun to the face. He lost his eyes, and now he's got to live the rest of his life blind. It's just, there's just no need for it, And so, anyways, so recently I made the decision to tell this story but I wanted to know exactly what happened. So I went to Seth and I asked him, and what I found out that I didn't know was that my son and his wife were with me, and my grandson were there when that incident occurred, and that the guy who actually did it was, they were pretty sure he was A, homeless, and or B, on drugs. And it turns out he didn't do it because the reason I thought he did it because he was, I guess, black, and he thought she was white, and he just threw out these racial slurs and attacked her. And I guess that a fight was going to ensue because he wasn't by himself. He was with little Richie and another boy. They were all basically children at this point. And Denise was the voice of reason, because grandson was there. She was like, no, we can't do this here right now, or whatever. I don't know 100% what happened with that part, other than she was able to talk them out of jumping that guy. I don't know how that happened, but apparently that's what happened. And so I talked to Richie and Denise, and they're like, yeah, it was just a weird thing. They were just walking, and this guy came out of nowhere and just verbally attacked Cheyenne, and then basically assaulted her. And they were going, they reacted, but I know that in a lot of cases, but if I had to guess, I would say, I don't know who the third kid was. I do know him, but I don't know him. But if I had to guess, I know little Richie's only been in a couple of small altercations in his life. Seth probably never was in a fight before. And they probably were all kind of nervous and scared. I don't even know what that guy looked like, other than he was probably bigger than them and was definitely either on drugs or homeless. I don't know. I guess nothing ended up happening, except for Seth did go out and get a gun, but then saner heads prevailed, and he contacted his uncle, who was a boxing coach, and was like, hey, I want to learn how to box. And so they started training like immediately, and now they've made a whole career out of it. Now they have a boxing team, and it's just kind of ironic how that stuff happened. So anyways, First Friday is coming up. We're going to be hitting the streets looking for this guy. No, I'm just joking. Yeah, it's just crazy how things work out. It's crazy how, you never know, something so devastating, so crappy can happen, and it turned into a whole life-changing experience. I can't say I ever had an experience personally like that, but if you have, feel free to comment, and I would love to tell your story. If you have any questions, comments, concerns about this episode, feel free to reach out. when I upload this, probably this evening, I will make an attempt to put the Sandoval Strong website in the comments or somewhere that you'll be able to find it. And if you're interested in, boxing training, I know that they have for me, I pay them. They come to my house. They train me and my daughter and my buddy. They'll come to your house, or, well, I don't want to speak for them, but I do know that they do personal training sessions, and then they have a gym that they train out of as well. So, or if you're just interested, have questions, you want to see video or something like that, feel free to hit me up. I have all that stuff. I guess apparently they put me on their website, which I'm super stoked about. I seen it once briefly, but I went back and looked for it, I couldn't find it. So apparently it's there somewhere. I guess it's going to be a short episode this week. Stay prayed up.